In the summer of 1978, in the passionate land of Argentina, the Italian national team, Squadra Azzurra, thrilled fans all over the world, writing an emotional journey at the World Cup. Under the hands of architect Enzo Bearzot, Italy that year was no longer the team of the famous negative defensive Catenaccio style. Instead, they introduced a generation of talented players with a versatile Zona Mista, mixed style of play. Fiery attack, flamboyant technique, but still maintaining iron discipline in defense. Although only stopping at fourth place, that generation was considered the most beautiful team that did not win the championship. The perfect draft for glory 4 years later. But behind those glorious moments on the pitch are people with very unique fates. More than 4 decades have passed. Time has carved cruel traces and belated glories on their lives. Some have become immortal monuments. Some have chosen a quiet life, and sadly, some have had to stop their journey in the ultimate tragedy. Let's look back at the ups and downs of the players who made up the soul of the golden generation of Italian football in 1978. Claudio Gentile, 24 years old in 1978, was a real rock on the wing and in the center of the defense. If Soraya was silk, then Gentile was steel. Famous for his annoying, aggressive style of play and willingness to do anything to stop the opponent, Gentile played the full 36 minutes of the tournament, becoming a nightmare for strikers with his tenacity and fiery fighting spirit. He did not hesitate to collide, embodying the uncompromising fighting spirit of the Italians. Gentile's career then continued to flourish with Juventus and the Italian national team. His peak was at the 1982 World Cup, where he pocketed 2 football geniuses, Maradona and Zico, with his famous art of marking. After retiring, Gentile did not choose a leisurely life, but devoted himself to coaching. He was very successful when he led the Italian U21 team to win the European Championship in 2004, training a new generation of talented players. However, his coaching career later encountered many difficulties, and he was often absent from the top coaching bench in recent years, which made him somewhat regretful and felt forgotten. There is an interesting contrast between Gentile on the pitch and off. On the green grass, he is labeled as the Butcher, a villain who destroys beauty. But in real life, Gentile is a man born in Tripoli, Libya, with a deep nostalgia for his homeland and a rather sensitive soul. He's principled, straightforward, and sometimes that straightforwardness makes it difficult for him in the modern world of football, full of diplomacy. Today, at the age of over 70, Claudio Gentile lives a rather private life. Although he is no longer directly in charge of the team, he is still passionate about Italian football and often speaks out to defend the traditional art of defense. He is still waiting for an opportunity to return to contribute, and the passion of the Gaddafi of years ago seems never to be extinguished in his determined eyes. Roberto Bettega, 27 years old in 1988, was the shining star of the Italian attack, playing alongside Paolo Rossi. Nicknamed Bobby Goal, or White Feather, because of his prematurely gray hair, did not diminish his strength as a complete striker. Good in the air, skillful in technique, and versatile in finishing. Scoring 2 goals in the tournament, Bettega was a dangerous spearhead, constantly disturbing the opposing defense. At that time, he was at the peak of his form and considered one of the best strikers in the world. Bettega's career is a story of great talent but bad luck at the national team level. He was a mainstay of Juventus for many years, winning numerous Scudetto titles. But fate teased him. A serious knee injury in 1981 robbed him of the chance to participate in the 1982 World Cup. While his teammates lifted the Gold Cup in Spain, Bettega had to stay home and watch on TV. It was the biggest pain of his career. After retiring, Bettega became a senior manager, serving as vice president of Juventus during the triumvirate period, with Moggi and Gerardo. He experienced ups and downs with the club, being implicated in the Calciopoli scandal, but later acquitted. Bettega exuded aristocratic grace, both on and off the pitch. His intelligence and elegance reflected the Turin native. He was reserved, rarely sharing personal details, but always exuded the authority of a leader. Today, at the age of over 70, Roberto Bettega has retired, completely leaving behind the activities of top football. He lives a peaceful life with his family, carrying with him the memories of a glorious but also regretful career. He is proof that sometimes outstanding talent must bow down before the irony of fate. Franco Causio, the most talented artist in Enzo Bearzot's orchestra in 1978, shone at the age of 29, nicknamed Il Barone, the Baron. He brought elegance, softness, and a South American touch to the Italian style of play. Playing all 7 matches, Causio became a source of inspiration on the right wing. With his flowing hair and signature mustache, Causio moved as if he were dancing, while his crosses and dribbling situations made every defense in the tournament wary. Causio's career was linked to the golden era of Juventus, where he won 6 Scudetti. After the 1978 World Cup, he continued to maintain his peak form and was part of the squad that won the 1982 World Cup. Although he played mainly as a strategic reserve in the 1982 tournament, the moment he was brought on in the final minutes of the final, when the score was already decided, was a great tribute from Coach Bearzot to Mr. Baron. After leaving Juventus, he continued to play consistently for Udinese and Lecce until the age of 39, when he retired. Causio's life was a reflection of his playing style, dignified and gentlemanly. A son of southern Italy, originally from Lecce, who made his name in the industrial north, Causio was always a symbol of striving and harmony. He never got involved in noisy scandals, always maintaining the image of a true gentleman of football. Franco Causio is now in his 70s. He still regularly appears on major Italian sports television channels as an analyst. He has also published an autobiography about his journey from a poor boy in the South to a world champion. The Baron's life is now peaceful and respected, just like the way he played football all his life. Mauro Belugi, 28, at the 1978 World Cup, was a key figure in Italy's defense, playing 5 games and 320 minutes. The defender, who played for Inter Milan and then Bologna, was known for his intelligence, his ability to read situations, and his versatility. Although not as flashy as Scirea or as aggressive as Gentile, Belugi was a reliable piece, quietly contributing to the team's top 4 finish. After the tournament, Belugi's career continued in Serie A, but did not reach the glory of the 1982 World Cup like his teammates. He retired and became a sharp, humorous football commentator. He lived a colorful life, always optimistic, and loved life. Belugi was a person who knew how to enjoy life off the field, always bringing laughter to those around him. However, fate dealt him a cruel blow in the final years of his life. At the end of 2020, he contracted COVID-19, and complications forced him to have both legs amputated. But even in that ultimate tragedy, the 1978 veteran's optimism still shone through. He once joked bitterly but energetically, "They took my legs, but I'll use prosthetics to run faster." Belugi's spirit moved the whole of Italy. However, the body could not hold on forever. In February 2021, just a few months after losing his legs, Mauro Belugi passed away at the age of 71. He left with a smile and the indomitable spirit of a warrior who never surrendered to fate, leaving behind a great lesson of courage for those who remained. Paolo Rossi, the 21-year-old Italian of 1978, was the symbol of new hope. Slender, not muscular, but with an uncanny sense of agility in the penalty area, Rossi was dubbed the baby-faced assassin. He played all 7 matches, scored 3 goals, and created golden opportunities. Rossi's brilliant performances at the age of 21 transformed him from a potential player into a star sought after by the whole world. Pablito, as quick as a squirrel, as sharp as a razor. But Paolo Rossi's life after that tournament was like a dramatic movie script with high and low notes. Just 2 years after his glory in Argentina, Rossi was caught up in the shocking Totonero match-fixing scandal in 1980. From a hero, he became a sinner, was suspended for 2 years, and it seemed that his career had ended in humiliation. But then, fate called his name at the 1982 World Cup. Returning from the penalty with his feet still not feeling the ball, he responded to all criticism with a superb performance, leading Italy to the championship and winning the Golden Ball. After retiring, Rossi became a successful businessman in the fields of real estate and agricultural tourism, and a beloved television commentator for his gentle smile and modesty. He lived peacefully with his wife Federica and children, enjoying the simple happiness that he always cherished. The most thought-provoking thing is the contrast between a cold killer on the pitch and a warm person in real life. On the pitch, Rossi is a terror, a thief of space and time to score goals. But when he takes off the number 20 shirt, he is a gentleman, always smiling and never letting the halo blind him. He is living proof that people can fall to the darkest depths but still fly to the brightest peaks. However, that glorious and turbulent journey had to stop. On December 9, 2020, Paolo Rossi passed away at the age of 64 after a long battle with lung cancer. The departure of Pablito, in the midst of the world being shaken by the pandemic, left a huge void in the hearts of Italian fans and the whole world. His legacy is not only about goals, but also a story of salvation and extraordinary willpower. Antonio Cabrini, 20 years old at the 1978 World Cup, was a breath of fresh air and charm to an Italian defense that was famous for its old, austere defenders. This young man won the hearts of fans not only because of his talent, but also because of his handsome appearance like a Roman statue. Playing all 7 matches, Cabrini tirelessly attacked and defended on the left wing. His excellent performance in Argentina earned him the title of Best Young Player of the tournament, opening a brilliant career as one of the greatest fullbacks in history. After the 1978 tournament, Cabrini's life turned a new page of brilliance, but also of pressure. Nicknamed Bell'Antonio, Handsome Antonio, or Fidanzato d'Italia, Italy's boyfriend, he became the first player to have the charisma of a pop star. Thousands of love letters were sent every day. Girls fainted when they saw him on the field. But Cabrini did not let that halo overshadow his expertise. He conquered all heights with Juventus and won the 1982 World Cup with the Italian team. Although he missed a penalty in the 1982 final, his contribution throughout the journey is undeniable. The interesting thing about Cabrini is the contradiction between his romantic appearance and his stubborn fighting spirit. On the outside, he may be a charming young man, but on the field, he is a true warrior, not afraid of collision, and has an extremely good left foot. He proved that a handsome player can still be a great player, breaking the flower vase stereotype at that time. Today, at the age of over 60, Antonio Cabrini still maintains his elegant style. After retiring, he tried his hand at coaching, especially leading the Italian women's national team, contributing to raising the level of women's football in the boot-shaped country. He also participated in reality TV shows, wrote books, and was a prestigious commentator. Cabrini now lives a fulfilling life, still a symbol of timeless beauty and talent. Gaetano Scirea, at 25, was the heart and brain of the Italian defense. Scirea was more than just a ball-clearing defender. He was the perfect embodiment of the modern libero, classy, intelligent, and suave. Playing all 630 minutes at the 1978 World Cup, he commanded Italy's famous defense with a cerebral style that rarely forced fouls. Scirea was a gentleman among butchers, turning defending into a quiet but powerful art. Scirea's career then marked a golden era for Juventus. He won every club trophy a player could dream of, from Serie A to the European Cup. With the Italian national team, he lifted the 1982 World Cup as one of the indispensable pillars. After retiring in 1988, Scirea immediately moved into coaching at Juventus, destined to become a great strategist in the future. His personal life was as exemplary as his playing style. Scandal-free, a faithful husband to Mariella, and a model father to Ricardo. He was a symbol of kindness in a world of football full of calculations. The connection between Scirea's on-field role and his off-field life was one of absolute unity. As calm, tolerant, and trustworthy as he was off the pitch, he was humble and virtuous. He never received a red card in his entire career, an incredible record for a defender. Scirea was the embodiment of moral beauty, an artist lost in the world of physical confrontation. However, the journey of that gallant man ended in the most painful tragedy. On September 3, 1989, during a scouting trip for Juventus in Poland in the pouring rain, the car carrying Gaetano Scirea had a tragic accident and caught fire. He died at the age of 36, the most beautiful age of a man. Scirea's death was a permanent shock to Italian football. He left when his mission was still unfinished, leaving behind endless regret for a great personality, a monument of courage and elegance. Dino Zoff, the silent giant of the Italian team in Argentina 1978, was an absolute stopper in goal. At the age of 36, when many players were thinking of retirement, Zoff still played all 7 matches, keeping a clean sheet in many important moments. He was a spiritual leader, a solid support for his juniors. Zoff's performance that year exuded a cool composure, with his vast experience helping him to neutralize danger with simple but absolutely effective moves, without the need for flashy flying moves. After the 1978 tournament, many people thought Zoff was past his prime, but he proved otherwise with extraordinary determination. 4 years later, at the age of 40, Dino Zoff became the oldest player in history to lift the 1982 World Cup trophy as captain. After retiring, Zoff continued to devote himself to football as a coach, leading Juventus and the Italian national team to the final of Euro 2000. His life behind the spotlight was a model of seriousness and discipline. He lived a private life, away from the noise of the media, always upholding the philosophy of a Friuli man. Do more than talk, work hard, and be honest. The similarity between Zoff on the pitch and Zoff off it is rock solidity. On the pitch, he is an impenetrable wall. Off the pitch, he is a family man, a respected husband, father, and grandfather. Zoff's silence is not empty, but the thoughtfulness of a man who has experienced everything, always considering every change. He is a symbol of longevity and loyalty. Today, at the age of over 80, Dino Zoff is living the peaceful days of old age. Although his health is not as good as before, and he has faced serious health problems, the Spider-Man of the past still maintains his clarity of mind. He occasionally appears in the media with sharp comments, still a respected godfather that the entire Italian football world takes off their hats to whenever their name is mentioned. His journey is a testament to the perseverance to overcome time. Marco Tardelli, 23, at the 1978 World Cup, was the team's lungs and eternal flame, if Causio was an artist. Tardelli played 6 games, bringing endless energy to the midfield. He was the modern box-to-box midfielder before the concept became popular, fiercely challenging, winning the ball back, and suddenly breaking into the penalty area to score. In Argentina, people saw the first seeds of the schizo, a nickname meaning crazy explosion, full of passion and intensity. 4 years after the 1978 tournament, Tardelli etched his name in world football history, not only by winning the 1982 World Cup, but also by celebrating Tardelli's scream in the final. The image of him running madly, shaking his head, screaming in joy, has become the greatest symbol of football passion. His club career was also illustrious with Juventus and then Inter Milan. Tardelli was the embodiment of the will to win, of the most naked and intense emotions. What is worth pondering is the contrast between the crazy Tardelli on the field and the quiet, thoughtful Tardelli off the field. After retiring, he devoted himself to coaching and management, leading the Italian U21 team, working as an assistant for the Irish national team, and coaching in Egypt. He's a straightforward person, not afraid to speak out about the negative aspects of football, but also very emotional. Today, Marco Tardelli is enjoying life in his 70s. He is happy with his longtime partner, the famous journalist Mirta Merlino. He is still a familiar face in the media, where his analysis is always as sharp and fiery as his playing style. The scream of the past has now subsided, giving way to the contemplation of a living legend. Giancarlo Antonioni, a 24-year-old from Florence, was awarded the prestigious number 10 shirt at the 1978 World Cup. He was a classic conductor, flamboyant, possessing excellent tactical vision and razor-sharp passes. Starting 5 matches, Antonioni became the transit point for every attack. He played like a poet, representing the romantic beauty of Italian football at that time, although his physical strength sometimes made people question. Antonioni's life is a sad but beautiful love song about loyalty and the irony of fate. He devoted all his best years to Fiorentina, refusing all attractive invitations from the Northern Giants, accepting few titles to be called Prince of Florence. The biggest tragedy in his life as a player came to him in 1981, when he suffered a fractured skull after a terrible collision with the Genoa goalkeeper. His heart stopped beating on the field for a few seconds. He miraculously returned to the 1982 World Cup, played extremely well, but then got injured in the semi-finals and was forced to sit out to watch his teammates play the final. He was a world champion, but a champion with unfinished sadness. The bond between Antonioni and life is sacrifice. On the field, he sacrifices his ego to create for his teammates, and off the field, he sacrifices his personal reputation to keep his oath to the purple shirt of Fiorentina. He is a symbol of pure love, something increasingly rare in the money-making world of football. Today, Antonioni still lives in Florence, where he is revered as a living saint. He has held various positions on the boards of Fiorentina and the Italian Football Federation. At nearly 70, he still retains the elegant demeanor of the football boy who holds his head high. Although he does not have the massive medal collection of his Juventus or Milan teammates, he possesses something more precious, the undying love of an entire city. Romeo Benetti, at the age of 32 in 1978, stood out among the glamorous players as a scary old guard. With his bald head, thick mustache, and sharp eyes, Benetti looked more like a villain in a cowboy movie than a football player. He played 6 matches, taking on the role of sweeper in front of the defense. Benetti's playing style was extremely fierce, not afraid of collision and ready to use tricks to intimidate the opponent. He was Panzer, a real tank, the fear of all number 10 opponents at that time. After the 1978 tournament, Benetti gradually entered the other side of his career and moved to AS Roma before retiring. However, behind his rough appearance and hard-hitting style of play was a completely opposite soul. Few people know that in real life, Benetti was an extremely animal lover. After hanging up his boots, he did not pursue a career in top coaching, but retired to a rural life, spending time raising canaries and training service dogs. He found peace in nature, completely away from the spotlight. Benetti's contrasts are a testament to the saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover." He's a fierce man on the pitch, but when the final whistle blows, he is a gentle, soft-spoken, and philosophical man. He sees football as a job to be done with ruthless seriousness, but real life is a place to be lived with love. Now, in his twilight years, Romeo Benetti lives a quiet and peaceful life. He rarely appears in the media, content with his simple life. He is a strange but indispensable piece of the Italian football picture of the past. A silent hero who accepts to play the villain so that his teammates can shine. Renato Zaccarelli, the flamboyant 27-year-old midfielder of Torino, became the silent savior of Italy at the 1978 World Cup, in the context that all eyes were on Rossi or Bottega. In the thrilling opening match against France, when Italy was behind and then equalized, Zaccarelli, who came on from the bench, suddenly entered the penalty area and scored the winning goal, 2-1. That goal not only brought 3 points, but also broke the inferiority complex and ignited the confidence of the whole team. With 5 appearances, Zaccarelli brought the intelligent, graceful playing style and the sharp reading of the game of a true Il Toro, the bull. Zaccarelli's career was closely linked to the Crimson Torino shirt. He was one of the key factors in the Italian football world in the 1970s, with Torino winning the historic Scudetto in 1976, the club's first championship title since the Superga plane disaster. If his teammates at Juventus often had a cold, disciplined look, Zaccarelli and the Torino players had the romantic, tragic, and a bit arrogant of the challengers. Unfortunately, injuries and personnel choices caused him to miss out on glory at the 1982 World Cup, leaving a regretful note in the career profile of one of the most talented midfielders of his generation. The connection between Zaccarelli's role on the pitch and his life is sophistication and intelligence. On the pitch, he does not use physical strength to overwhelm opponents, but uses his mind to play football. Off the pitch, he is also known as a polite, calm person with a sharp management mindset. After retiring, Zaccarelli has held many important positions from sports director to head coach of Torino and Bologna. In every position, he maintains the demeanor of a gentleman, working with dedication and foresight. Today, at the age of over 70, Renato Zaccarelli is living a peaceful life and is still closely attached to football. He is a prestigious commentator on Sky Sport Italia, where his calm and profound analysis is always appreciated by the audience. He is like a living dictionary of tactics, a witness of the golden age of Serie A. Although not as noisy as many of his contemporaries, every time the victory over France in 1978 or the glorious period of Torino is mentioned, Zaccarelli's name is always mentioned with all respect. He is proof that sometimes just a moment of brilliance at the right time is enough to etch your name into history.